Hello, my name is Emily Carter, and I'm living two lives, one made of words and one made of whispers. By day, I'm a writer who never leaves her apartment. I sit by a cracked window, typewriter keys echoing like a heartbeat in a hollow room. My neighbors think I'm quiet, polite, invisible. They don't know that every poem I write is soaked in someone's blood metaphorically, of course. At least, that's what I used to believe. I write about love, loss, and everything that slips through human hands. But the truth? I don't write about love because I understand it. I write about it because I lost it the night my name was erased from the world. You see, once upon a time, I had a real name. Not Luna, not the dancer, not the whisper in the dark, but Emily Carter, the poet who was supposed to win awards, travel the world, and sign books with trembling hands. That version of me died 3 years ago, the night I walked into the velvet room. By night, I become her Luna, the girl who dances like she's burning. Every move a confession, every step a scream that no one hears. They see glitter, I feel ghosts. Men throw money, women starre, and I dance not for desire, not for fame, but to forget the words I can't write anymore. The stage is my pen, the music is my paper, and the darkness, that's where I hide the parts of me that shouldn't exist. But lately, something's been wrong. A few weeks ago, someone posted my poem online, the one I wrote years ago before I vanished. The title was Ashes of the Unsaid. It had my name on it, Emily Carter, my real name, but I never uploaded it. I never showed it to anyone. At first, I thought it was an coincidence. Maybe someone had the same title. But then, the second poem appeared, and the third, each one signed Emily Carter. Each one something I wrote in the dark, hidden in the drafts I thought I deleted. Whoever's doing this, they know me too well. He's been there 3 nights in a row, never looking up, never leaving until dawn. I don't know if he's watching me or guarding me, but the feeling, that crawling sensation down my spine, it's getting stronger. Like the ghosts in my poems, they finally found their way home. Every night, I promise myself it's the last one, the last dance, the last lie. But when the lights come on, when the crowd cheers, and when that beat starts pulsing through the floorboards, I disappear again. Luna takes over, and Luna doesn't care who's watching. But tonight, as I step on stage, something's different. A man is sitting alone in the corner booth, black suit, no drink, eyes fixed not on me, but on the poem tattooed on my wrist. The same poem that was leaked online. For the first time in years, I forgot my routine. My rhythm falters, because in that moment, I realize he's not here for Luna. He's here for Emily Carter. When the show ends, I run backstage, my hands shaking so badly I can't unlock my dressing room door. There's a note pinned to the mirror, written in my own handwriting. It reads, "Your words deserve to be seen. Meet me, midnight, Pier 19, N.G." I don't know who NG is, but I do know one thing: whoever found my poems has found me. And that means my secret life is no longer mine. My name is Emily Carter. I'm a poet by day, a dancer by night. But starting tonight, I might become something else entirely. A survivor or a ghost. Depends on who gets to write the ending. Midnight, Pier 19, the kind of place where secrets feel right at home. I shouldn't have gone. But curiosity is a poison that tastes too much like truth. I kept thinking maybe it's a fan. Maybe someone loved my old poems enough to resurrect them. But when I reached the pier, I realized this wasn't admiration. It was surveillance. A black car was parked near the edge of the dock, engine humming, windows fogged. I almost turned back until I saw the envelope on the hood. My name is on it, Emily Carter. Inside was a single sheet of paper, my latest unpublished poem, typed neatly, and a note below it. "The world is ready for your voice again. Don't make me publish it without your permission." Whoever this NG was, They weren't bluffing. The next morning, that same poem was trending online. Thousands of shares, reposts, reactions. People are calling me the ghost poet, the one who writes from the grave. And then the email came from Nathaniel Gray. Subject: let's talk about your story. He knew my name, my address, and even the bar where I danced. There were no pleasantries, just one sentence. I can make you famous again, Emily. Or I can make you disappear for real this time. That's when I realized this wasn't discovery. It was possession. He smiled, like someone who'd already read the ending of your story and was just waiting for you to catch up. I've been following your work, he said, stirring his coffee. You write like someone who's seen too much to still believe in happy endings. I stayed silent. He slid a contract across the table. Glossy, professional, real. Your words could make you immortal, he whispered. Then, softer, or they could expose everything you've been hiding. He knew about Luna, the club, the money, even the night that changed everything, the one I never wrote about, the one that wasn't supposed to exist. I tried to leave, but he said something that froze me mid-step. Your poems about fire, the ones you wrote after the accident, you never published those, did you? No one knew about those poems. No one but me. How did you? I asked. He smiled again. Because, Emily, I was there. He left me with a manuscript folder and a warning. I'll release the next one tomorrow, unless we have an agreement. I opened the folder when I got home. Inside, pages of my old poems, rewritten in my style, but darker, twisted. Each line dripping with guilt. I didn't remember writing. Someone had turned my art into a weapon, and now it had my name on it. Realized what Nathaniel wanted. He didn't just want to publish me. He wanted to own the story of my past, the tragedy, the fire, the death that ended my first career. The night my mentor and my lover died in the flames of my studio, everyone thought it was an accident. But Nathaniel's last words echoed in my mind. I was there. Was he the one who started it, or the one who saved me? I didn't know, but one thing was certain. If he had my poems, he had proof. And if he had proof, he had power. So I did what I do best. I wrote, not for fame, not for art, but for survival. A message hidden between metaphors, a warning buried in rhyme. If he wanted to play with words, I'd make every word a trap. Because when a writer bleeds ink, the paper always fights back. I used to believe that words couldn't hurt anyone, but that was before someone started using mine to kill me one poem at a time. Every morning, I wake up to find another one of my poems online, not just the ones I wrote, new ones written in my voice, using my memories. Someone is forging my pain, feeding it to the world, and the world is eating it up. They call me the poet of the inferno. Millions of followers, book offers, interviews. Everyone wants to know the woman who writes about guilt, fire, and rebirth. But the problem is those poems aren't mine. They're his. Nathaniel calls me every night at 2 a.m. sharp. He never asks how I'm doing. He only asks, did you read the comments? I stopped answering after the third call. He sends voice notes now, calm, steady, rehearsed. The public wants more tragedy, Emily. Give them something real, something that bleeds. He doesn't want poetry. He wants a confession. He wants the truth about the fire. I don't know how he got that tape, but I know what it means. He's not just a publisher. He's a collector of secrets, of souls, of stories that should have stayed buried. He's using my words to tell his version of what happened that night, the night my mentor, David Marlowe, died in the blaze. And somehow, he's twisting it to make me look guilty. At first, I tried to fight back. I called the press, denied everything. But then, a new poem dropped, one with details no one else could know. Details about the room, the lighter, the argument. I never wrote that, but I did live it. That's when I understood. Nathaniel wasn't leaking my poems. He was rewriting my memories. Each piece he published twisted reality just enough to make me doubt what was true. The more he posted, the more the world turned against me. The more I questioned myself, until one morning I found a delivery at my door, a white box sealed in black ribbon. Inside, a single Polaroid, a photo of me on stage as Luna, and scrawled on the back, in typewriter ink, "The world loves a tragic muse. Don't ruin the illusion." That's when I stopped sleeping, stopped writing, stopped feeling safe. But the worst part? My audience didn't want the truth. They wanted the myth. Every denial I made, every tear, every trembling video only made me look guiltier. Every word I said became another quote for their headlines. The hidden writer speaks. Did the poet kill her mentor? Luna's lament. The confession in verse. The more I tried to vanish, the louder my story screamed. I wasn't writing poems anymore. I was writing evidence, and Nathaniel knew exactly how to make me obey. The night he sent me the final message, it was short, only 2 words. Write more. Attached was a video, grainy, shot from the crowd, inside the velvet room, me on stage, dancing, unaware that my eyes were being filmed like prey. The caption read, "You write, or I publish this." He wasn't bluffing. Within hours, clips of me performing appeared on anonymous accounts, blurred faces, but not enough to hide me. My poetry audience recognized the tattoo on my wrist, the same one from my poems. Suddenly, Emily Carter, the poet, and Luna, the dancer, became the same person. The internet called me a liar. The club fired me. The publisher offered me a new contract under Nathaniel's name. He had taken everything, my art, my privacy, my peace, and worst of all, my voice. But here's the thing, Nathaniel never understood. A writer doesn't die when her words are stolen. She evolves. I started writing again. Not for the world, for him, hidden messages buried in new poems. Each one, designed to lead him somewhere, to make him believe he's still in control. But he's not anymore, because this time, the next poem isn't written for fame. It's written for revenge. There's a moment when silence becomes louder than sound. That's how I knew he was close again, because Nathaniel never disappears. He lingers, like smoke after the fire. It started 2 nights ago, a knock on my door. No one outside, just a cardboard box, damp from the rain. Inside, my old journals, the ones I burned. I remember that night like it's stitched into my veins. The fire, the screams, the smell of ink and ash. I burned every trace of who I was, every secret, every sin. But now, they're back, perfectly preserved. On the inside cover, written in red ink, you can't erase what's written in blood. Each page was a piece of my mind, torn open, poems, sketches, and diary entries. Except these weren't exactly as I wrote them. There were edits, additions, lines he never pinned, like this one. He said he loved my words, so I showed him how they burn. Those weren't mine, but they were written in my handwriting. That's when it hit me. Nathaniel didn't just have my work, he was inside it. 3 years ago, before I became Luna, before the smoke and headlines, there was David Marlowe, my mentor, my lover, my mistake. He taught me how to breathe poetry, but he also taught me fear. David wasn't gentle. He was jealous, controlling, and obsessed with the idea that my words belonged to him. When he discovered I'd signed a publishing deal without him, he snapped. We fought. The manuscript hit the floor. The candle fell, and then everything turned red. I remember pulling free of his grip, running through the flames. His voice was calling my name until it didn't. But there's something I never told anyone. Someone else was there that night. I saw a silhouette in the doorway watching, not moving, just watching as everything burned. That silhouette, it wasn't David. And now, reading these journals, I see the name written in the margins over and over again. Nathaniel Gray. He wasn't just a publisher who found my lost poems. He was the witness. Maybe even the one who took the journals before the flames consumed them. Maybe the one who dragged David's body out. Or the one who made sure I was blamed. Every edited line in those notebooks, every twisted poem was him rewriting history, turning truth into fiction, turning me into a murderer who didn't remember her own crime. I realized then I wasn't being haunted by the past. I was being framed by it. The fire wasn't an accident. The poems weren't leaks. And the story, the world believed that Emily Carter vanished after killing her mentor, was written by Nathaniel Gray. He made me his creation, his living ghost, the tragic muse of his masterpiece. But he made one mistake. He taught me to write too well, and now I can write him out of existence. Tonight, I start a new poem, not for my readers, not for forgiveness, but for justice. I'll hide the truth in the rhythm, the same way he hid lies in mine, and when the final verse is done, it'll lead him right back to where it all began, the burned-down studio on Hollow Street. One last fire, one final rewrite. The writer became the story. Now the story will write itself. Stories end in one of two ways, with truth or with silence, and I've lived too long in silence. It's been 7 days since I found the journals, 7 days since I stopped running, 7 days since I decided that if Nathaniel wanted to write my ending, I'd give him one, but not the one he expected. I wrote a new poem. It's called The Mirror Verse. Every line is bait, every metaphor a breadcrumb, hidden between the stanzas, coordinates to a place only the two of us would understand. The ruins of my old studio, the place where the fire started. I leaked it anonymously under his own company's imprint. Within hours, it went viral. The return of the ghost poet, they said. And Nathaniel, he took the bait. He came exactly at midnight, always predictable, always dressed like power. When he stepped into the ashes, I was already there sitting on the old typewriter table, the one that somehow survived the fire. "Hello, Nathaniel," I said. He smiled, slow, smug, certain. "Emily," he answered. "I knew you couldn't resist the ending." He thought this was his stage. He thought I was the performer. He walked closer, his shoes crunching over debris. "I made you immortal," he said softly. "I gave your tragedy a purpose." I laughed small, sharp, like glass breaking. "You didn't make me immortal," I whispered. "You just forgot who was holding the pen." I'd been recording everything. His confession, every word he'd ever said about the fire, the manipulation, the lies. Proof that he wasn't a savior. He was an arsonist. He froze when he saw the recorder. And for the first time, the calm in his voice cracked. "Emily, you don't understand, but I did. I always did. He was there that night, not to save me, to destroy me. He set the blaze to erase David, to erase witnesses, to steal the manuscripts. And when the fire didn't kill me, he used the next best weapon, my own words. He stepped closer, face twisting with rage. "You think anyone will believe you now?" he hissed. "They love the tragedy too much. You are the lie, Emily." I stood, and I smiled. "I know," I said, "but every lie burns out eventually." His eyes widened. "You wouldn't I?" I dropped the match. Firelight reflected in his eyes the same way it did 3 years ago. He stumbled backwards, shouting my name. I didn't move, because this wasn't murder. This was authorship. I left the recorder on the table his confession captured, my final poem beside it. The police would find it in the morning. They'd call it arson, or madness, or art, maybe all three. As I walked out into the rain, the flames behind me spelt something only I could read. My final stanza, written in smoke. To rewrite is to destroy. To destroy is to become free. The world will wake tomorrow to headlines. The ghost poet dead in fire. But that's the thing about writers. We never really die. We just changed genres. Authorities are still investigating the blaze on Hollow Street, the remains of two individuals found in the wreckage. Sources confirm one of them is believed to be literary figure Emily Carter, known to millions as the Ghost Poet. A hand-gloved, careful lift a page from the ashes, half of a poem. The words smudged, but the signature was clear. Emily Carter. Within 24 hours, the internet crowned her a legend. The final piece she wrote, The Mirror Verse, became the most downloaded poem in the world. Critics called it a confession beyond the grave. Fans called it divine justice. But none of them noticed the detail that mattered. Not at first. Hidden in the final stanza, a code, a set of numbers, buried in the rhythm of her words. Latitude, longitude, a location. 3 days later, security footage leaked. A woman in a dark coat, walking through the airport at dawn. No face shown, but on her wrist, a faint tattoo, a single word, Luna. They think I died in the fire. Maybe I did the version of me that needed saving. Anyway, writers die in every story they tell, but the clever ones, we make sure someone else takes our place in the ashes. The world finally gave me the fame he had always promised, but not the way he wanted. Now he's the ghost, trapped in his own ending. And me? I'm just a name on a page, watching from somewhere no one thinks to look. Hello, my name is Emily Carter, and I'm still writing.